Water allocation planning is about, as it says, allocating the water between all the users of the water resource. So whether they be the existing users, the people that are irrigating, and the stock and domestic users, but also, most importantly, allocating water for the environment. I guess the challenges of farming is something that I'm really interested in, but first and foremost, I guess it's we are a business and we have to make a profit. So it's certainly trying to get enterprises that are profitable to us, and I guess that's what's driving me, is to increasingly remain profitable whilst maintaining the sustainability of the business. I was a member of the Soil Conservation Board and also a member of land care groups, and that's where there was some, where the start of the information that, you know, the water resources were at threat. Well, I felt there was a need for me to help work with the community in trying to see how we could actually manage our water resources better than was currently done. So there was a lot of community concern about the level of development that was happening both in the surface water on the plain, in the hills, and the development of the increased development of the bores and the use of the groundwater down on the Murray Plain. So that actually did galvanise some community action to ask the government to investigate what the state of the water resources was, and if there was a decline, how would we manage that? When members of the community started to question the level of development in the surface water and the groundwater resources, there was a number of other people in the community that felt that this was people coming in to threaten their livelihoods, and so there was a lot of community angst when the whole water allocation planning process was mooted, and certainly we had a couple of very angry meetings in the catchment that really highlighted that there was a lot of community concern, but there was also a lot of community distrust in the whole process. The worst thing about the experience was the length of time it took. The Marne water resource is a very complex resource, and so there was a lot of science and a lot of work that had to go in behind before we even developed the policy. We were also very mindful that we need to have community meetings, and we had a number of those over the catchment as we developed the plan. So we tried to ensure that we had good community acceptance when we went out with our draft plan towards the end of that planning process. Well, I think the whole community can go ahead with the thought supply is secured. Yeah. So they know that through the water allocation plan, there will not be dams built above them that will cut off their supply. There will not be wells drilled next door to their existing wells or bores and will threaten their supply. So basically, business people can continue doing their business with the knowledge that they've got good water supply. So I think that's really important. If I think back to when we had some very angry meetings at the start of the water allocation process to when we did the meetings for the final draft water allocation plan, the mood of the community was certainly much more accepting, and they understood that this wasn't a threat to their business, that it was something that was actually going to give them some water security going forward. So no, I think the community was not ecstatic about all the policies that came out of the water allocation plan, but they were very accepting of them.
What are those shows?